Do you ever just feel like you're overwhelmed by all the new cameras coming out every day? And you turn on YouTube and your favorite content creator is out there just saying, you need to buy this camera or that camera. And then you check your other content creators and they're saying the same thing, buy this camera, buy that camera. And you open up your wallet and all your aspirations to be a better creator just fly out the window. Well, I'm here to tell you today, you don't need it. I'm going to show you 5 easy things that you can do to get the quality you want out of the camera you're currently using today. And once you combine all 5 of these things and use them together, you're going to make the greatest content you've ever made, and you're not going to need to break into that wallet anytime soon. Let's get into it, guys. All right, the first thing you can do to make your shots better on your smartphone or whatever you currently have for shooting video with is light your shot. Now, before you say, more gear, I don't have the money for that. Remember the wallet scene earlier? No, before you say that, I'm gonna show you how to do this with just natural lighting or lights you might have around your house. Now, right here, I'm lighting it with the 2 lights I typically use and carry with me on the go, but you can use a 2-light setup to create the contrast you want or don't want on your face or your subject. If I turn this light away, I have more contrast. As I turn it towards me, it eliminates some of that. And you see that the shadows on this side of my face kind of go away. So we're gonna do that with lights you currently have around your house and play with contrast and stuff when you do that. So first I'm gonna show you how to do it with just using window light. All right, so using just outside light, I have a pretty even shot on my face because I've got window light coming from this side over here, and then I've got window light coming from straight ahead. I got a little bit of contrast here because I don't have a lot of light coming from this area and I like that contrast. Now we could change our angle and eliminate some of that contrast like this. It's almost perfectly even because right now I'm between 2 windows. So I got a window right here and I've got a window right here. Without window lights, say we're shooting at nighttime, let's find some lamps and some other good stuff to use for lights in our house. All right guys, so I have this lamp from my studio, which doesn't have any diffusion on it, and I have this lampshade lamp. Now, you wanna look for a lamp like this more because it's gonna have diffusion, so it will soften the look on your face instead of having like a harsh light like this. You don't want the harsh light. So I'm gonna use this how it is. I also grabbed parchment paper. You could use a white pillowcase or something else to create your own diffusion, and a chip clip. So 2 lamps, a chip clip, and some parchment paper, and we're gonna have a nice lighting setup here. All right guys, so to start, I have both lamps equally in front of me on each side of the camera, giving me a pretty even face here. That's a great lighting setup for most talking head stuff. If you want to add some contrast to it though, all you have to do is bring one of the lamps around the side and you're going to create a bit of a shadow. You can see the shadow kind of come across this side of my face is lit more, and it looks really nice and adds just a little bit of character to it. You can add extra character by moving a light farther away, almost eliminating it, more contrast there. I like it a little closer. I can bring it around and even it out again. So play with where you place your lights, have fun with it. Don't forget to add a practical. That really adds something to your shot. The second thing I want to talk about is framing your shot. Now, most phones or cameras have the option to turn on what's called grid lines. And if you can see them here on my camera, I'll make them more apparent in post if I don't see them there. But if you see them here on my camera, you'll know what I'm talking about. It is the 2 lines across and 2 lines up and down, and those create your rule of thirds. And if you've studied photography or videography at all, you know a little bit about the rule of thirds. Now, if you don't know about the rule of thirds, let me tell you something here. So when you're shooting a person, you want to keep their eyes on either the top third or the bottom third, depending on what type of scene you're doing. But if it's a typical talking head, you'll want to keep them on the top third. Now you can do something even more fun with it and kick them off to the side. So right now I'm right in the middle on the top third, but if I scoot a little bit, I can be to the side right with my nose in between the other third and my eyes are on the top third. Now that adds a little bit of interest, but you don't want to leave a bunch of blank space over here or anything like that. So like if I was gonna set this scene, I'd maybe like set my phone here or something else that's part of the scene and set it there so that there's not a lot of empty space here. Think about your rule of thirds, use your grid lines if your device has them, I haven't come across a phone in the last 5 years that doesn't have them. So check your phone settings, turn on your grid lines. The third thing you need to think about when you're trying to shoot better video with your phone or whatever camera you currently has is creating depth to your shot. With this shot right here, I have some background blur because I've separated myself pretty far from the black background. But also, with a normal camera, you can create that background blur pretty easily, even if you're not that far separated from your background. But let's talk about using a phone to do it. So, creating background blur with a phone can be a little bit difficult, but it can be done. Or creating blur in your shot in general can be done. And we'll talk about that in just a second, a little more, and shoot something with the phone to show you these techniques to adding depth. The other option, which is something that's definitely necessary that I didn't really do in this shot here, is adding some lighting on your background to separate the background lighting from your foreground lighting and giving you some depth that way. So let's shoot with the phone real quick, and I'm gonna show you how to do both of those things. All right, so as you can see here, there's not a ton of background blur. It's really hard with a phone to get that background blur, and I've separated myself, like that wall's pretty far back. It's blurrier than me and not as crisp and sharp as I am, still not like a good bokeh like you would like. So what I've done is I've added a practical light here and then another light that's kind of hidden behind one of these chairs just to shine more light and add some dramatic kind of shadows and stuff onto that wall, making it a completely different lit setup than I am personally. And that adds some separation from the background, but let's make a blur. So I'm gonna reset this up and we're gonna create a blur. All right, so now you can see I've added this glass in the foreground and that adds a blurred object that really creates a full separation here. And the reason it works so well is because most cameras and phone cameras and pretty much all cameras have a minimal focal distance. And it's usually somewhere between like 6 and 8 inches and maybe even farther than that on some lenses. It just depends on the lens. But most selfie cams, which is what I'm using, it's about 6 to 8 inches. And I've got this up close, like within like 3 inches of the lens, which gives a great blur. And then I've still got my extreme lighting on the background, and this creates a full separation in this shot. So it's a pretty decent shot if you're going to shoot a talking head like this, and it gives some depth and character to your scene. All right, the fourth thing that you want to add to your mobile filmmaking is camera movement. And you can do it handheld. You can do it with a slider that, you know, costs a little bit of money, but there are some good ones out there for under $100. There's some wheel cart ones that you can just set it on and it's like a roller skate wheels and it can roll it. You could use a roller skate from around your house. You can use anything that has wheels on most scenarios to add some really smooth movement. There's some other really fun, easy tricks where you can just snag something from your house and do it. And I'm gonna show you how to do those with my phone here. And I think that runner that my wife recently bought for our dining room table might serve some purpose here. So let's play with that, and I'm gonna give some movement here. And mind you, this isn't going to be of me because I'm gonna be filming it. This is more adding movement when it's you filming a subject versus filming yourself. Now, if you wanna add movement to yourself, you can always do that in post by just adding a bit of a punch in and then some subtle movement side to side. You can push in by just kind of zooming in post. We're not talking about in post, we're talking about what you're gonna do with your camera to be able to add some camera movement. All right, so what you wanna do is you wanna grab something like this liner, or like a towel, or something else that you could easily slide on. And you're going to start your recording and use your hand use your hand on the side that's the movement's happening to pull. You don't want to push from the other side because that kind of defies the purpose. If your phone's also slick enough, you could just slide it and support your phone. And what I'm going to be doing here is having my focus on this front object, the glass, and then focus on the bottle once I reveal it. So let's take that shot now. All right, if you stuck around this far, guys, then congratulations, because you're about to hear the most important thing. And that's number 5, and that is making sure that your video has good audio. And I'm not just talking about having a good microphone so that your voice sounds good on your video or whatever you're doing in the scene sounds good, but I'm talking about being able to add sound effects and music in post as well. So there are some free ways to do that out there, and one of the easiest one if you're on a computer is YouTube Audio Library, because it's all royalty free and it's easy to access. You'll just go to YouTube, go to YouTube Studio, and then on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see Audio Library over there on the little sidebar. If you're just doing your shooting and your editing from your phone, I recommend PowerDirector. It's the best phone editor out there, and I have a whole playlist on it if you need to learn something about it. It's $34.99 a year, so you're talking $3 a month-ish to have the best phone editor that's always doing upgrades right at your disposal. They have stock footage, stock photos, and royalty-free music, royalty-free sound effects, and like I can't say enough good things about PowerDirector, guys. Try it out. Now, to get good audio from you out of your phone, if you don't have a microphone, you can try to place pillows and blankets around your camera and behind it so that there's not a lot of reverb in your room. And if you do that, you'll notice a huge difference in echo and kind of the tinniness of your sound. But in general, most internal microphones on cameras aren't the best. So getting an inexpensive external microphone is a good thing, but you do want to get a decent one. So the one that I used from the beginning was a Mookie mini video mic, and I will pop one of those down in the description and a few other options in that price point, which is between like 20 and 35 bucks. Mind you, there will be a few things down there that are affiliate links, so it does help me out if you purchase from those, and I promise you that I won't put anything down there that I haven't already used or don't already trust as a quality, budget-friendly item. So, which one of these tips that I gave you guys today did you like the most? Please leave a comment and let me know. And leave a comment and let me know if you've used some of these before and if they've worked for you or if they haven't. I like to have discussions with you guys in comments, so feel free to talk down there. And if you did enjoy this video, then you're definitely going to enjoy the video right up there, guys. And I'm going to keep grinding here at Eddie Studio and start working on next week's video. I'd like to see you guys out there shooting stuff and posting it. So film something, have fun, peace out, see you next week.